Good morning, everybody. So we've got we're going to do a flashback for this first thing, and then we're going to be looking at using mass, grams, kilograms, a bit more practically this after that, looking around the house and then developing it on that way. So we're going to start off by doing a bit of a flashback, and then we'll be moving on to our practical learning today. Okay, so for our first task this morning, we are going to be looking at a quick flashback of some different skills we've been using. So for number one, I want you to identify the shape. First of all, identify, is it a 2D shape or is it a 3D shape? Once you have done that, can you decide which what we call a shape because of how many sides it has got? Then for number one, complete the missing denominator. So again, you're finding you can either use the picture to help you. Alternatively, you could find it using what you do to the numerator, you do to the denominator to find the missing denominator. Number two, Tilly has 32 sweets. She eats 3/8 of them. How many sweets does Tilly have left? So be careful on this one, because remember, this one might be, it's a word problem, it might be a one-step or it could be a two-step problem. So please read it really carefully, have a go at it, and then we'll go through the answers. And then what comes next, work out the pattern, work out what the numbers are going up in to find the next one. And then finally, what is 3 times 9, which will be a nice easy one at the end. Have a go at doing your working out for this one. Once you have done that, we'll have a go at doing some of the questions together to show you the answers, and I'll also give you some extra ones to have a go at doing as well. Okay, so number one looks something like this. So we, well, not number one, sorry, the shape will look something like this. Now we can see that this is a 2D shape because it has not got, it doesn't look 3D, it's flat. If you laid it on the table, you'd be able to see it flat. So now we can count the number of sides. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know it is a 5-sided shape. So we know a 5-sided shape is called a pentagon. Now a quick recap, what type of pentagon is this compared to if I drew this one? So I've drawn a shape there for you to have a look at. What is the difference between the top pentagon and the bottom pentagon? Thinking back on when we looked at shapes, why are they different? You should have said that the top pentagon is what we call a regular shape, a regular pentagon, whereas the bottom one, even though it has got 5 sides, it is irregular, and it is an irregular pentagon. Now why is that? Why is this one regular and why is this one irregular? Have a quick chat to your parents or to yourself, or think to yourself, what is the difference? You should say that the regular pentagon, it is regular because all the sides are the same length and all the angles in the inside are the same. However, on an irregular pentagon, the sides and the angles are all different. Okay, so looking at number one, we want to find the missing denominator, finding the equivalent fraction. So if we actually look first of all onto our picture, if we find 4/8, so if you move all the way across until you find 4/8, then if you have a look what 4/8 is equivalent to, we can see that the one that is above it, we can see that there are 4 parts and that there are 2 parts shaded. So if we now have a look at this one, so really that shows that there are 2 parts shaded and 4 parts altogether. However, when we have a look at this one, how do we get from 4 to 1? We are going to have to divide by 4. So if I divide by 4 on my bottom, 8 divided by 4, how many 4s go into 8? 4, 8 is the answer 2. We know that 4/8 is equivalent to a half, which we can also see that 2/4 is also equivalent to a half because the numerator 2 is half of the denominator 4. Similarly with 4 is half of the denominator 8. If, for example, you had 5/10, straight away we can see that this is equivalent to a half because 5 is half of 10. See if you can come up now. If, for example, so I'm going to show you this. So I'd like you to find all the equivalent fractions of a half. So you've got 1/2, so you've got a half. You have got 2, what would your bottom number be? You have got 3, what would your bottom number be? 4. What would your bottom number be? 5. See if you can go all the way up to 10. So just on another piece of paper, or a piece of paper you've got there, can you tell me what all of these would be equivalent to a half, thinking about the top number and the bottom number? Pause the video now, have a go, and then let's have a look to see if we get the right answers. Okay, so for it to be a half, the top number has to be half of the bottom. So instead of halving, we would double 2 to equal 4, double 3 to equal 6, double 4 to equal 8, double 5 to equal 10. And then I'm going to go on to the next one. So you should then have had 6 double to make 12, 7 double to make 14, 8 double to make 16, 9 double to make 18, and 10 double to make 20. So fantastic if you've got all of those correct, because they are all equivalent to a half. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Tilly has 32 sweets. So 32 sweets is her whole number. So I've pulled out the keywords 32 sweets. She eats 3/8. So she was hungry and she ate 3/8 of them. And then it says, how many sweets does Tilly have left? Now it's not asking how many she ate, it asks how many she had left. So we need to work out, first of all, how many she's eaten to find out how many she's had left. So first of all, we're going to find 3/8 of 32. In order to do this, we know that we have got 8 parts, so I'm going to do 32, which is my whole number, divided by 8, and I've got 8 parts, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can dot it 32 times, or I can count up in my 8s, 8, 16, 24, 32, so I know that there is going to be 4 in each part. Then once I know that there is 4 in each part, I need to have a look to see what it's asking me for, and it's asking me for 3/8. So I need to find 3 parts, 3 lots of, and then there's 4 in each part. So I know my answer is going to be 12. So she has eaten 12. However, 12 is not the answer because it says how many does she have left. So we know she's eaten 12, we know she started at 32, so to find the difference, to find how many she has left, we need to do 32, take away 12, because that's how many she's eaten. 2 take away 2 is 0, 3 take away 1 is 2, we would say she has got 20 sweets left. Another way that some of you might have spotted this straight away is if we have a look, I'll just rub this out. It says she had got 32 sweets and she ate 3/8 of them. But we want to know how many she has left. So another way you could have done it is you could have found out how many, what fraction of sweets did she still have. So I know that 8/8 would be the whole, so that would equal 32 because that's the total number of sweets. So I want to know how I would get from 3/8 to 8/8. So what would I add to 3/8 to get to 8/8? And if I work this out, I know that my denominator stays the same, so as it was started and we get to the same denominator. So what do I add to 3 to get to 8? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I would add 5. So a way that we could do it is we could now find, we know that the 5/8 of the sweets were not eaten, so we could find 5/8 of 32. So in order to do this, we could do 32 divided by 8, which we already knew was 4, so in each of these, each of my parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I would have 4 in each part. And in order to find 5/8, I would need 5 lots of 4 because there's 4 in each part. So 5 times 4 is 20. So you get the same answer, 20 sweets left. So it doesn't matter which way you do it, but whichever way you choose, as long as you get to the same answer. And you could do it both ways to check your answers. Okay, so I'd like you to have a go at doing this one on a piece of paper now. So, Miss Faith had 48 sweets. She ate 2/8 of them. How many did Miss Faith have left to give to year 3? So very similar to the question we've just done. So I want you to have a look, pull out the keywords, think about how to work it out, have a go at working it out, and then come back and we'll see if you've got the same working outs and the same answers that I have also got. So let's have a look for the keywords. So Miss Faith had 48 sweets. So that was my total. I had 48 sweets. It then says that I ate 2/8. So again, I've pulled out the keywords. I ate 2/8. But I don't want to know how many I ate. I want to know how many did I have left. So to work it out, there are obviously 2 different ways that you could do this. The first of which, we could have found 2/8 of 48 to find out how many sweets I ate. So I could do 48 divided by 8, and I could obviously do my dots, or I could write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or I could just count up in 8s, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. So I know each part is worth 6. However, I haven't just eaten 1/8, I've eaten 2/8. I was very hungry. So I've eaten 2/8. So I need to do 2 lots of 6 because each is worth 6. So I ate 12 sweets. I was feeling very hungry when I wrote this. So I have eaten 12 sweets. Now, the next part of the question, if I look at my question again, it says I ate 2/8, so I know that Miss Faith, myself, ate 12 sweets, but then it says how many did I have left to give to my class, to give to year 3. So I need to find what 48, because that's how many I started with, and I've eaten 12, so if I do 8 take away 2 is 6, 4 take away 1 is 3, and I would have 36 sweets to share with my class. So that would be one way. So if you've got 36, fantastic. Alternatively, you could have, I know that I have eaten 2/8, so I know that I have not eaten 6/8 because I have 8/8 as my whole number, as my total. So 2/8 add 6/8 will be 8/8. So I could find 6/8 of 48. So if I change this now and I write I want to find 6/8 of 48, I'm going to get rid of that. I have done the same working out, but instead of finding for 2 parts, I want to find it for 6 parts. So I could do 6 times by 6 equals 36. So you get the same answer. So whichever method you chose doesn't matter as long as you have found the correct answer. If you have still not quite grasped that, please have a look. Please watch the video, that part of the video again to make sure that you understand it. Alternatively, you could then give yourself another question to challenge yourself. Okay, question 3. So question 3, I want to look at the pattern and I want to find what comes next. So the first thing, let's have a look. What do we notice from the pattern? Well, we notice that all the denominators are the same. So I know that my answer is going to have the denominator of 10 because they are all the same denominators. Now, I want to work out what my pattern is. So if I have a look and I can see how many numbers are there between 1 and 3, 1, 2, 3, there are 2 numbers. How many numbers are there between 3 and 5? 3, 4, 5, there are 2 numbers. Let's check it for this one. How many numbers are between 5 and 7? 5, 6, 7. Again, there are 2 numbers. So in order to work out what my numerator is going to be here, I'm going to have to still add another 2 to my 7 to find my answer was 9/10. You might have also spotted that the numbers were going up in odd numbers, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So you might have spotted that straight away because remember that's what the odd numbers go up in. So to find your answer quickest. And finally for question 4, you were doing 3 times by 9. This should have been a nice easy one because we know our 3 times table really well, or you could have done your 9 times table to work out the answer. Now, one quick way that you could do it is we already know that 3 times by 10 is 30 because all we have done there is we've just put the 0 up onto the end of your 3. So I know 3 times 10 is 30 straight away, and then I could have just done 30 take away 3, which got 27. So that would just be a quicker way of getting to 3 times 9 without having to count up in your 3 or your 9 times table. So your task today is to find your weighing scales in your house. Now, hopefully you'll all have some sort of weighing scales, whether this is in the kitchen to do some baking with, or the weighing scales for if you were to stand on them to weigh yourselves. So you might need to ask a parent to help you to find the scales so that you can have a go at doing this. Now I have put this sheet on Seesaw, so you can use this as an example. Alternatively, you can come up with your own sheet as well. So I'd like you to first of all obviously get your weighing scales, then to choose some different objects around the house. So they can be either food objects, they can be toys, they can be books, they can be any objects that you can find which we're going to try the weight of. Then you will write your name of your object where it says object. So I've given you an example. So I've done a bunch of 5 bananas. I've then put them on the weighing scales and I have found out how much they weigh. Then to challenge yourself, you might be able to do the one which you find the easiest first, but you can challenge yourself so that you are writing it in kilograms and grams, just in grams and just in kilograms. So looking at the example I have given you, so there was 0 kilograms and 425 grams. That is the same as 425 grams or 0.425 kilograms. So I'd like to see lots of different types of objects, you converting them, comparing them to really see the difference in that. And then I'd love to see these on Seesaw to see what you've weighed and see if you've really managed to convert them correctly. Now once you have finished that, I'm going to show you something else you can do, or alternatively if you haven't got any scales or can't find the scales, it's another option for you. So once you've finished, you might choose that you might want to do some baking or some cooking for the afternoon, and you can apply what we've learned, or for this lesson as well, you can apply what we've learned to do with looking at grams and kilograms for doing some baking or doing some cooking. Or if you can't do that at the time, if your parents aren't available for you to do it with them, you could just have a look through some recipe books and really see where we have got grams and kilograms and the amounts that we use as well. So have a look at that. I'd love to see some videos, some pictures of your objects that you've weighed as well on Seesaw, and I hope you have a fantastic day doing this. I hope it's a bit of fun as well.